Hello, hello, hello. Let's make sure I'm live in all of the places. All right, here we go. Welcome and thank you for joining me. We are going to be talking about unplugging to recharge, the power of disconnecting. So, I'm Dr. RJ, licensed clinical psychologist, and this is just a course to teach you all how to unplug and recharge. It's super important, especially as high performers, that we get this thing together and learn right away before we burn out how to unplug to recharge. Something I found especially with high performers, is that, when you're growing up, everything you touch turns into gold, right? You have all of the awards in school, you graduate at the top of your class. A lot of us are first generation and we're doing it for the very first time. And so um, I just want to share with you that often there is times where we feel like, ooh, things aren't like they used to be. Like I don't have that same oomph about myself. And that can be because we need to take a break or recharge. Hey, Gail, thank you for logging in from work. Good to see you. All righty, let's get this thing going so I can be respectful of your time and give you some ways to unplug. All right, here we go. Dear busy, let's break up. So when I think about being busy, overly busy, I often think about, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. Have any of you ever had to like write a breakup letter or whatever? Um, I want you to think about what you would say to busy if you were breaking up. So I'll read you the letter that I came up with, but I definitely want you to come up with your own. So here we go. Dear Busy, let's break up. It's time we had a heart to heart. Our relationship has been a long and complicated one, filled with constant struggle and a never ending quest for balance. But I've reached a point where I must be honest with myself and with you about where we stand. For as long as I can remember, you've been a significant part of my life. You've pushed me to fill my days with endless tasks and deadlines, always demanding more of my time and energy. At first, I thought you were helping me be productive and efficient, but I've come to realize that you're preventing me from achieving true productivity and stealing the joy from my everyday experiences. You see, busy, you've become exhausting. Your constant demands leave me feeling drained and unfulfilled. The sense of accomplishment you once promised has been overshadowed by a pervasive feeling of overwhelm. Instead of finding satisfaction in my achievements, I'm left chasing an unattainable goal, forever trying to do more, be more, achieve more. I can't keep living like this. I deserve to find joy in the moments that matter, to savor the simple pleasures of life without the constant pressure to do more. I need a balanced life, one where I can be productive without sacrificing my well being and happiness. This is why I've decided to break up with you, Busy. It's not because I don't value hard work or ambition, but because our relationship is no longer serving me. I need to prioritize my mental and emotional health to create space for things that truly matter. From now on, I will focus on being intentional with my time, setting boundaries, and finding joy in the present moment. I will seek productivity through meaningful work, not through a never ending to do list. Thank you for the lessons you've taught me, but it's time for me to move on. This breakup is for good, and I'm ready to welcome a balanced and fulfilling life. So if you're ready to break up with busy, you are in the right place. If you're ready to break up with busy, just give me some hearts if you're on Instagram, give me a thumbs up if you're on Facebook, if you're streaming in just from StreamYard, say yes, I'm ready to break up with busy. Are you busy doing nothing? Often we are just spinning our wheels and going and going and going, but not really getting anything accomplished. I want you to think about that. Are you busy doing nothing? Often we have a problem unplugging because we value being busy, but let's change that today. So, again, I'm Dr. RJ, licensed clinical psychologist. I help busy executives optimize their mental health so that they can eliminate excessive stress and maximize time so that they can actually love the lives that they've worked so hard to build. I've been practicing for nearly 2 decades now. And I've seen the industry shift in a lot of different ways. What I love about this is that now we're finally paying attention to productivity in a way that is inclusive of wellness. So that's a little bit about me. Let's jump right into the strategy, right? And so if we're talking and the power of disconnecting, we live in a world of constant connectivity, and we can even feel guilty for disconnecting at times. I know there's some commentary about there out there about people who keep their phones on do not disturb. And it's so funny to look at the comments. I'm actually the queen of do not disturb because I don't value constant connectivity, right? If I'm giving you myself all of the time, you're just going to get fractions of me and not the whole me that you deserve. And so I want you all to take a moment and think about, do you experience guilt when you aren't connected? Right? Do you experience guilt when there's not constant connectivity? It's a fairly new thing. And when I say new, I mean like maybe just the past 15, 10 years, really, to be on all the time, to be sharing all the time, to be taking in everybody else's stuff, people we don't know, people we've never heard of. We're just taking in nonstop. And our brains and bodies are not designed to do that. Our brains and bodies are not designed to take on all of this in a nonstop manner. So I encourage you to unplug. Let's talk about how to set boundaries without guilt. So, if you are a note taker, this is the time to start taking your notes. So, the strategy, we'll talk about three things today. First is to set boundaries without guilt. Second, how to recharge in a quick way. And third, less is more. So, starting with setting boundaries without guilt. This is crucial for maintaining a healthy work life balance, a healthy, just regular life balance, your relationships, all of those things. It's crucial. Boundaries matter because it allows us to prioritize personal time, right? Boundaries allow us to prioritize personal time. It also allows us to improve productivity, and boundaries help us to prevent burnout. So when we're prioritizing personal time, it's understand that your personal time is just as important as your professional time. It all matters. When we're talking about productivity, clear boundaries can actually lead to increased productivity during the work hours. And in order to prevent burnout, regularly unplugging prevents mental and emotional exhaustion. Steps to set boundaries. So here's your strategy. Okay. These are the your action steps. So if you're taking notes, you're going to get a lot of information today. I want you to just try one thing, just one change, and try one different change every day until you find a good rhythm of the change. Try not to be overwhelmed with all the things that you'll need to do differently. Baby steps, 2 millimeter shifts. That's how we get momentum. So, steps or your strategy to set clear boundaries, communicate clearly. Inform your family, your team, your clients, your friends, even yourself when you're going to be unavailable. The next, schedule downtime. You want to block out periods in your calendar, especially for relaxation or personal activities. When I'm speaking to groups or companies or organizations, I'll say, pull out your calendar and block off some time, and you're going to put in do nothing. And everybody's eyes get wide. Like, what do you mean by do nothing? Like, define do nothing. Can I do this? Can I do that? Just schedule your downtime and make sure there's nothing that you have to do, and then use the time as you please, any way that fills you up. And then finally, a strategy to set up clear boundaries without guilt is to turn off your notifications. Use your do not disturb modes or switch off notifications outside of work hours. So I use the focus feature on the iPhone, and it's so funny. I tell my family all the time, like, don't get demoted because I have certain names that can come through no matter what, like certain numbers, certain names who can come through even if I'm on do not disturb. However, if it's misused, I will delete that name so quickly. And so set some boundaries, even with your family, on times to disturb you or times to contact you when you're on do not disturb. So remember, setting boundaries isn't about being selfish, it's about preserving your energy and focus to perform at your best. I did skip something, so I'm going to go back. So make sure you stay until the end so that you can ask me anything. I'm going to hang out for a couple of minutes when we're done. And if you have any specific questions for me, just stay until the end. I'll come back on camera and answer a few questions. Quick tips on how to recharge. So, if you follow me on Instagram at Ask Dr. RJ, you will see me talking about recharging all the time. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool, but how do I actually do that? So, even with a packed schedule, there are simple ways to take a breather and refuel your energy. Simple strategies to recharge: take micro breaks, deep breathing, mindfulness practices, and digital detox. So let's go into each of these. If you are a note taker, this is the time to jot these down and determine which one you'll work on first. Okay. Try not to overwhelm yourself by making all these changes at once. So here we go. Micro breaks. Take short, frequent breaks throughout your day. A 5-minute walk or a quick stretch can do wonders. Um, Ways that I take micro breaks at home: I'll change my sitting desk into my standing desk, and then I'll just kind of walk away from it, walk around, go get a drink of water, look outside, and then I'll come back. That's like a total of 3 minutes several times a day, and it really does do wonders. Deep breathing. Practice deep breathing exercises to calm your mind. So you'll inhale for 4 seconds, hold for four, and exhale for four. Right? Just do this a few times a day, before a big meeting, after a big meeting, before working on a project or an assignment that's going to require a lot of energy, before ending your day or before starting your day. Just practice deep breathing. So you're basically breathing in for four, or inhaling for four, hold for four, exhale for four. When you exhale, exhale slowly. We call it pursed lips. So you hold your lips together and you make like a noise as you're exhaling. Okay. That will then remind your brain that even though it feels like you're on high alert, everything really is okay. So it sends, deep breathing sends a message to your nervous system, to your parasympathetic nervous system that's in charge of your breathing and heartbeat and all those automatic things. It sends a message that everything is okay. So even if your brain is doing the most, you want to tell your body that everything is okay. Next is mindfulness practices. Spend a few minutes meditating or practicing mindfulness to center yourself. I love mindfulness. It's pretty easy to do. You don't have to be like an expert yoga person in order to use mindfulness throughout the day. So I'll give you an example of how to use mindfulness. You can just use your five senses. So let's say I'm looking out my window right now. And if I wanted to practice mindfulness, I just say, okay, what do I see? And I'll take the time to focus on that. If I feel my mind going in another direction, I just let it happen. No judgment and observe. Say, okay, I see you distraction and we're gonna keep going, right? So what do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you taste? Just all of your five senses. Okay. Something else I've done or I've started to do in the evening, I'm always trying out new things to enhance my morning routine and my evening routine. And so something I've started to do in the evening is I listen to um, a playlist. It's called Worth Ethic, and it's basically just an affirmation, and it helps me come down from my day and really shift into the evening part, right, where it's time to relax. It's time to unplug. So you can use music to do mindfulness. You can use your five senses. You can use an app. There are tons of apps out there to help you with mindfulness. Whatever it is, you just want to make sure that it is helping you center yourself and really. Um, I was going to say get back to baseline, but baseline. Okay, I'm not going to overthink that. Yes, get back to baseline if your baseline is calm. Finally, digital detox. We know what that is. Allocate specific times to disconnect from all digital devices. Now, if you're anything like my son, when it's time to disconnect from all digital devices, you may be having an internal meltdown, and that's okay. You'll get used to it. So, there should be a time where you disconnect from all digital devices, including your phone. So maybe take a walk. You can have your music, right? But if you can do your music without scrolling, then I think that's fine. Take a walk, sit outside, just sit in silence. There's some value to silence. It allows you to recharge and unplug in that way. So, incorporating these quick recharge methods into your routine can help you stay refreshed and maintain a higher level of productivity. Often we think unplugging and disconnecting will make us waste time or lose time. And you may be thinking, I don't have time to unplug. I don't have time to disconnect. Well, you don't have time not to, because if you don't unplug or disconnect, then you'll never be operating at your full capacity. It's like charging your cell phone, your mobile phone battery. For those of you, you can look at your battery life and see how much capacity it actually has. If you don't recharge regularly, then the capacity goes down. It's the same for us. Our capacity goes down. So you may think you're giving 100%, but you're really only giving like 60 because you have not recharged. You haven't unplugged. And that's why we can feel like we're constantly doing things with no results. It's because you're not operating at 100%. All right, let's keep going. Less is more. Oh, this may be my favorite. So it's essential to understand that quality often trumps quantity, especially when it comes to work and rest. So let's talk about the principles of less is more. Again, if you're a note taker, this is a great time to jot a few things down. You'll focus on key tasks. Prioritize your high impact tasks that drive the most value. So, if you've worked with me before, if you've been to any of my courses or master classes, or if you've heard me speak, um, you'll hear me talking about what must be done. What's your top three things that must be done? Every single day, you should have three things max, three things max that must be done. And you want to write them ahead of time before the day starts. I do my list the night before because it's easy to get distracted the next day and try to add things that shouldn't be there. So, when you're focusing on key tasks, it's what must be done. Often, my clients will say, "Well, there's so much to do." And I'm like, "Yep, but if you start doing 3 every day instead of being overwhelmed with the list of 5,000 things, it may take some time, but eventually you'll get through that list by accomplishing 3 small things at a time, what must be done." This works for home and work. Next, of course, is delegate. Get somebody else to do it. Don't be afraid to delegate tasks that others can handle. Sharing the load can be incredibly freeing. And so, when I talk about delegate, the point of delegating is so that you'll have more energy, you'll have more bandwidth to work in your own zone of genius. You'll have more energy to do the thing that you are designed to do, right? If you're doing all of the things, and if you're tyrannized by tiny tasks, then you're not going to be very good at what you were designed to be good at in the first place. So think about that. The less you delegate, the more it puts you in a place where you're too exhausted to do what you're designed to do. Finally, principles of less is more. Quality rest. So aim for meaningful, uninterrupted rest periods rather than specific, ineffective ones, right? Rather than sporadic, ineffective ones. So aim for meaningful, uninterrupted rest periods. Your rest is going to depend on you. I like to take small breaks here and there, but then get everything done and then just be done, right? So I am a queen of powering through, but even with the power through, I still take small breaks so that my rest can be uninterrupted. So your strategy, this is your action items. Here's what to do next. So we've talked about focusing on key tasks, delegating, and quality rest as your actions. But the benefits of less is more. You'll have enhanced creativity. You'll have increased efficiency and you'll have an improved well-being. Often we can feel stuck like, oh, I can't really think. My brain feels fogged. It's because we haven't rested or unplugged at all. A well rested mind is more creative and better at problem solving. If your mind is rested, if you are relaxed, you're going to run circles around the exhausted people. You'll run circles around them. I've seen it happen. By focusing on fewer tasks, you can achieve better results. So just find a few things to work on and knock it out instead of trying to do everything. And I'm talking to those of you who have like 10 tabs open on your computer all day, 10, 15 tabs, like that's not efficient. Finally, if we're talking about the benefits of these strategies, the benefits of less is more. Overall happiness and health improve when you allow yourself to rest and recharge. So that's the whole point of this, right? For us to have overall wellness, overall happiness, overall health. I should say overall joy instead of happiness because happiness can be fleeting. But just a sense of joy and being content, not complacent, but being content. That comes along with being able to rest and unplug. Again, we when we simplify our workload and invest in quality rest, we'll find that we're not only more efficient, but also more fulfilled. And so when I talk about my sprint work cycles, I can get a whole lot done if I strategize about my rest. And so every performer, in addition to these, this is a bonus strategy. Every high performer should have access to a therapist, but not just any therapist. If you're a high performer, there are several people you should have on your team. Of course, you need um, your physician, you need some sort of health person, whether it's a personal trainer or an exercise group or whatever, something for your body. Of course, there's mind, body, spirit. You want to nurture your spirit, and you want to be protected, so you'll have whatever type of attorney you need. But definitely a therapist, not just any therapist, a therapist who is familiar with the struggles that high performers face and also some of the barriers. Like you all aren't regular. And so the strategies that work for regular people may not necessarily work for you in the moment. So I have a question for you, and many of you have heard this story before, but I'm going to tell it again and again and again. Would you climb Machu Picchu alone? And so often as high performers, we feel like we can do everything by ourselves. One, because we think that when we do it by ourselves, it gets done better, and our way is the best way. It's kind of like, oh, I might as well do it myself. And we also feel like we can get things done quicker. That's not true, though. So, my daughter and I, a couple of years ago, went on a school trip to Peru, and one of the sites was Machu Picchu. And so, of course, whenever we go on a trip or whenever, hold on, I need to see you while I'm telling this story. All right, because I use my hands a lot, so I want to see you. Okay, so anyhow, whenever we go on a trip, we use a book called Lonely Planet. So we prep for the trip like months ahead of time. And so we had our Lonely Planet Peru, everything highlighted, everything ready to roll. We did all of the research on what to do when we're climbing Machu Picchu. So we were prepared. Once we arrived at Machu Picchu, it I wouldn't say overwhelming, but it was a lot. And we had a guide. Sometimes they call guides Sherpas, someone to guide you through a process, to guide you through a hike, to guide you through a trek. We had a guide. And so the reason that this was important, even though we did all the research, even though I had I had my fanny pack, I had my sneakers to keep my ankle support together, I had my rain jacket and my poncho and all the things. There were still encounters that we would not have known about or we would have not known how to manage those issues without having a guide. So you're probably like, okay, Dr. RJ, like, what are you trying to say? As we were hiking, trekking, and all of the things happened. So the weather changed, the wind changed. There were also other things that came up that we would not have expected. So, for example, there may have been a pack of alpacas to the left, and the guide is like, "You want to stay to the right because you don't want to disturb them. Watch your step here because recently we had a landslide in this area that no one else knew about. So watch your step." Look over here, you want to make sure that you're watching out for wildlife that might be at your feet. So, even as prepared as we were, without the guide, we would not have been able to navigate the landscape. The same is true for high performers. When you're looking to be a better version of yourself, even if you're really good at what you do and you know all the things, right? I get it. It's still important to have a guide who has navigated this landscape in so many different ways. So that's my point of the Machu Picchu story. So would you climb Machu Picchu alone? Hopefully the answer is no. So you basically have two options at this point. You can continue to be exhausted, unfulfilled, stressed out, and feeling like you've worked hard. However, you still don't love your life. Or you can delegate the issue to someone who has actually mastered teaching thousands of executives the art of balance and is the best in the world at it. Newsflash, that would be me. So I set aside for tomorrow some extra time. Yes, on a Saturday. If you're watching live, it will be tomorrow on a Saturday. If you end up watching this later, obviously you can still schedule a time, but it won't be these special times that I set up. If you click or go to helpmelovemylife.com, we can just have a conversation like, where are you? Are you where you need to be? Are you climbing Machu Picchu alone? Are you um, facing things that you didn't know you would face, but you don't know how to navigate that landscape? Are you exhausted and you don't know how to get back on track? Are you working below your potential? All of those things we can have a conversation about and then come up with a strategy. So here's how I can help. On the call, we'll help you get total clarity about exactly what you want your life to look like and the exact steps you should take to achieve your goals. So for me, of course, my dream life, which I am living right now, may not look like somebody else's. Like I'm more of a I want to travel. Um, I'm a bit of a hot girl, so I want to be out with my friends and do all the things. But for someone else, their dream life might be being able to stay in the house all day on a Saturday and read their favorite book without being interrupted. Or it might be a mom who's like, I just want people to stop calling my name. Like that would be a dream life. It doesn't matter what your dream life is. What matters is that we can work together to figure out a way to make it happen for you. So if you want us to help you and if it's a good fit, we may invite you on to become one of the new clients we take on in this month. So you just go to helpmelovemylife.com. The sessions that we do are designed to optimize your mental health, increase true productivity, and help you master work life balance. If we work together, though, we'll expect you to prioritize your mental health. You'll see increased productivity even with unplugging and disconnecting. You'll eliminate burnout and you'll have improved relationships and actually love the life you've worked so hard to build. You just go to helpmelovemylife.com. All right, so what to do next. I've already told you what to do. And I like to give gifts. So here you go. Your free gift, text Be Well to 833-451-4258 for your mental health guide. I'm a guide for busy professionals. Gifts are my love language, so I try not to show up at people's house without a gift. Um, like just show up to a party or show up to whatever empty-handed. Like I'm like, don't do that. So anyhow, I want to not show up to you all without giving you a gift. So here you are. Just text Be Well to 833-451-4258. So that's it. So you see how quickly we were able to go through that, get you some valuable information, and help you get along the way to being more productive. So I am going to answer any questions. Let's see, how will this work? I think it only works. I don't know how that works. I'm just trying to see, like on Instagram. All right. I don't think it works like that. Anyhow, if you have questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram at Ask Dr. RJ, AskDrRJ. Again, it's super important that you understand how to unplug and understand the power of disconnecting. Um, Disconnecting does not waste time. It doesn't make you less productive. It actually increases your productivity so that you can do what you're actually designed to do. All right, that's it. I'm going to love you and leave you. Let's stay connected. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.